In the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Thursday, Palm Week, Saint Martin, the first Pope of Rome. Scripture reading for the day, Proverbs chapter 23, verse 15 to chapter 24, verse 5. Meditation. Be not envious of evil men, nor desire to be with them, for their minds devise violence, and their lips talk of mischiefs. Read verse 24, chapter 24, verse 1 to 2 of today's scripture. I must confess that these words get my attention and fill me with mixed emotion. I try to be good and try to avoid evil, but do I really hunger and thirst for righteousness? I sense that often I envy those who live the good life. What I say and think are different. I attend church services, but I resent those who don't go. I know that Christ wants me to have a pure heart and mind and soul, but it's more fun to eat, drink, and be merry. I fast for certain foods and forms of entertainment during Lenten seasons, but I am jealous of those who seem quite happy not fasting and feel no need to do so. Why does Christianity, and especially Orthodoxy, have to be so difficult? I grumble, I envy those who seem to have it so easy, or do they? Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. Says Jesus Christ in Matthew chapter 5 verse 11. I must begin to ponder and live these words in order to understand what real happiness is. Perhaps I have accepted material things as honorable and desirable and have forgotten the joy of salvation ahead for those who love God. The joys of this world will always fade away, but joy in God envies nothing worldly because its fulfillment is in Him. Wisdom of the Fathers. Everyone, whoever he may be, desires and seeks prosperity and happiness. To desire what is good for oneself and to seek prosperity or happiness is part of man's nature, and therefore it is not a sin or vice, but we need to know that here on earth there has not been and is not and never will be true and perfect happiness and prosperity. For all our prosperity and happiness are only in God. Nothing in this world but God can fill our hearts or fully satisfy our desires. A fire cannot be put out with a brushwood and oil, because only water will put it out. And exactly the same way, the desires of the human heart cannot be satisfied with the goods of this world, because only the grace of God can quench the thirst of our desires. Everything we desire pleases us only as so long as we do not possess it, and when we get it, we soon get tired of it, or only what we do not as yet have seems to us good and attractive. Truly not a single earthly pleasure can satisfy our heart. Do you want prosperity and happiness? Seek it in God. From Saint Innocent of America, hymn from today's Matins. Let us come before the end of the fast with pure hearts of the compassionate God, forgetting all cares of life. By abstinence, let us renounce our love of pleasure and concern ourselves instead with charity. Life of Saint Martin, the first Pope of Rome. Martin was a native of Umbria in the central area of Italy. He was respected by his contemporaries, who regarded him to be a priest of great intelligence, charity, and holiness. He was elected Bishop of Rome or Pope in 649. The Pope in the 7th century wielded absolute authority and great influence in the West as long as he did not conflict with the emperor in Constantinople. At this time, the controversy of monothelitism, which said Christ had only a divine will and no human will, was becoming a serious issue. This dispute was contrary to church dogma, and Pope Martin lost no time in calling it heresy. He convened a council to reestablish the correct doctrine. Emperor Constans II, who had accepted the monothelitist position, was enraged at the Pope's opposition on this issue. He ordered Martin to Constantinople. Pope Martin offered no resistance to the emperor's soldier. He was ill and suffered harsh treatment on the long journey. He was jailed when he arrived in Constantinople and condemned after a secret trial before the Senate. His life was spared because the cruelty and public indignities he suffered angered the people. He was exiled to the Crimea and died about 2 years later in 656. Martin I is the last pope to be venerated as a martyr. When I feel discouraged or abandoned, Lord, let me remember that you are always near. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.